Hey guys, I appreciate you tuning in today. We are on day 37 of my journey, and I just wanted to do a quick update since it's been an extra week after the month. So it's been 5 weeks total, and things have been going pretty well, all things considered. I've definitely had a lot of life realizations outside of even doing this journey, and I've realized that I and you guys, anyone, can do whatever they want to in life with their career, with whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Sometimes it can feel so far away from us, as if there's all these obstacles in our way. But really, the biggest obstacle between you and getting what you're after in life is yourself. And I know that sometimes sounds like a hard pill to swallow, but I can tell you right now that I was holding myself back before all of this. I was, basically taking these slight obstacles, I wouldn't even really call them major obstacles, and I was using them as excuses for why I shouldn't do the work to get where I want to be. And I was making a lot of mistakes. I was not being my best version of myself. And recently, I've really realized that you have to put everything that you have into something if you really want it. And with my career path, it's one that is more of a difficult path, I'll say. I don't really want to go too much into what I do, just because that's not really the point of these videos. But it's not a path that is chosen by many people, because it's nearly impossible to make a good living at. But that doesn't matter. I have put all my eggs into this basket from the moment that I became an adult, and it's time for me to stop making excuses and to just do the work. And if I need to, which I am probably going to do, I need to get a temporary job so that I can make these advances towards what I'm trying to do. And there's been a lot of times in life where I've just kind of settled for jobs that, were not terrible or anything, but I could have been pursuing more what I'm actually trying to do. And, another thing that I'll say is that we oftentimes, with other people, can kind of create these issues that we don't even really realize. Like, it's a subconscious thing. If you're in a relationship with someone, or even if you have friendships, if you're not in a financially good place, or maybe you're not in a good emotional place, even if you do everything you can to try and hide those things, it still is impacting the way that you act, the way that your relationship or friendship functions, the way that you view yourself and your own self-esteem in subconscious ways. And when this happens, it may not seem like it's causing a big problem, but over time, it is just like getting good things that happen in your life. It's kind of a snowball effect. So, maybe one day you're really stressed out because of finances, and you kind of like lash out at someone, or maybe you start complaining, which happens to a lot of people. It might not seem a big deal in that moment, but if your complaints keep coming up over and over again, after a while, that person's going to start to think, wow, this person really complains a lot about their life, but they're not really taking steps to fix it. And what do you think that that's going to do over time? Nothing good, I'll tell you that. They're going to start to not have as much respect for you. They're going to see that you're not somebody who is really chasing their dreams and passions. So, it's just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. But as far as this week has gone, I've had a lot of improvements just in terms of my energy levels and my interactions with other people. I won't say there are never moments where sometimes I still get a little bit in my head, but it's much more short-lived than it used to be, I would say. Last night I was at an event and interacting with lots of people that I didn't know, and I felt much more in control of what I said to people. I wasn't overthinking as much. I just said what I felt, and I noticed that people kind of treated me differently. Like, they really were listening and paying attention to what I said. And I don't think that that's necessarily, it's not that they never paid attention before, but I feel as though I have a different way of delivering what I'm saying than I did a couple months ago. So that has been a really cool effect, and I've just kind of realized that, life is short and you have to just live in the present moment. And even if you wish that something could be different, you wish that you could change the past, you can't change the past. It's a pointless thing to think about. So you really have to always remember that if you just sit by yourself and maybe you're just feeling really down one day, if you just let yourself fester those thoughts, not to say you should never, sometimes you have to take a little bit of time to yourself and collect yourself a little bit. But if you do this too much, what ends up happening is that you feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're, letting yourself feel your emotions fully. And in reality, though, sometimes you're just repeating the same thought patterns over and over again, and you're not really solving anything. So I think you do have to be a little bit careful with how much time you're spending analyzing your emotions, because it's normal to feel those things. But if we don't learn to flip our minds, if we don't learn healthy coping mechanisms, then what ends up happening is you are again just going to kind of stay in that same mind state, and nothing's going to improve. So I've found that to be very important for myself recently. And another thing I wanted to touch on too is that we often convince ourselves that we need something from other people. I know I talked about it the other day, but validation, or we need others to respect us in order to feel whole. But the thing is, if you really want to build true self-respect, you have to build it within yourself first. And that took me a long time to realize that. But it's true. If you are not feeling complete within yourself, and you're not building the skills and the coping mechanisms to live your life independently, and I also mean not just with emotions, but even just being able to be on your own and function well and do all these things, then when that time does come for you to be with someone, be in a relationship, even if it does work out for a while, if you didn't really do that work and you don't have your life together in that way, it's going to eventually come back and bite you, and often pretty hard from a lot of people I've heard. So you have to remember too, if your life, your job situation is not super secure, or if you don't feel like you can again support yourself, it may not seem like too big of a problem when you're in a relationship at first, but if it will put a strain on things. So that's something that I've kind of come to terms with recently, and I want to be in a good place with all of that before I jump into anything serious. And it took me a while to understand that, but it just makes so much more sense than the mentality that I had in my early 20s. So anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you guys are doing well, and I hope that you've had a great weekend. See you in the coming days.